What's up, fam? Today we're going to be talking about authenticity and how to truly step into your authentic self and live life with integrity, true to yourself, not trying to be someone that you ain't. Why would I do a video on that? Well, it's linked to the Hilaria Baldwin scandal. For those of you who don't know, Hilaria is married to A-list Hollywood actor Alec Baldwin, and she's been accused of faking pretty much every aspect of her identity. From her cultural heritage to her ethnicity, where she was born, where she grew up, her accent, and whether or not she knows the English word for cucumber. Yes, really. So Hilaria has given numerous interviews over the years where she told us that she was born on the super exotic Spanish island of Mallorca and that she grew up there and that she moved to America aged 19 to go to university. What we've come to know is that she was born in Boston, raised in Massachusetts, and that her parents are full-blooded Americans who happened to retire to the island of Mallorca. Rumour has it that Alec Baldwin back in the day had a huge crush on sexist señorita Salma Hayek, and Hilaria and pretty much everyone knew about that. So Hilaria kind of orchestrated things so that she bumped into Alec at a restaurant and, "Oh, señor, I'm sorry, it's my fault." And Alec completely fell for it, and they now have 3 kids with extremely Spanish sounding names, and they've been married for like 8 years or something. So of course it would be super easy to mock Hilaria because it's hilarious and put her down and pretend that we're so much better, but we're kind of not. Like, it's very socially acceptable and even expected to edit and filter and curate aspects of our lives, our personalities, our persona, our bodies to fit a particular narrative, a particular standard or whatever. And, you know, look at social media. You don't find a bitch on social media, especially not influencers and celebrities, who haven't completely changed their faces and their bodies and completely curated their lives and the image that they want to present to the world. And it doesn't stay in the realms of social media. This is something that humans have been battling with for a long time. We've all dialed up certain aspects of ourselves or hidden aspects that we're maybe ashamed of or embarrassed about, or we feel won't help us move forward in life, won't help us be, you know, accepted by the friendship group that we want to be accepted into, that it won't get us the job that we want to secure. So there's many reasons that we do this, and I'm going to be breaking that down a little bit later. But I just want to tell you guys this story of a girl that I went to university with who fabricated every aspect of her life. It was wild, and I was really close friends with this girl, and she was always talking about this group of friends that she had. Facebook was pretty new at the time, and I remember, like, these people were always commenting on her pictures, how beautiful she was, commenting on her page about what they were going to do that weekend. And she would leave our university town every weekend to go home. And she would come back with these wild stories about this crazy stuff they'd done all weekend. And I remember my birthday came up, and she said that she couldn't attend my birthday because her best friend, Henry, had got into a car crash, like a serious car crash, and she had to go home. Long story short, the web of lies came crashing down, and I confronted her. And I remember being super angry because I felt like she'd betrayed me. She'd been every single day actively lying. It's not even like I was asking anything about. She was coming to me, telling me lie on lie on lie on lie. And I was really offended. I found it really, really offensive, and I was quite angry when we had our kind of showdown. Now I think about it, the older I've gotten, the more I've been able to reflect on this kind of stuff, and I've seen this sort of behaviour again and again, maybe not to that extreme, maybe not to the extreme of Hilaria, or should we say Hilary, by the way? I forgot to mention that. Her name's Hilary. The more I've realised that this sort of behaviour is people who fabricate an alternate reality to escape the shame or the trauma of their true reality. And actually, these people need a bit of help and a bit of compassion. So just sort of digging into the whys, like why we do this. And again, there's a scale. You know, you can be someone who just kind of dresses in a way that they think will help get them a date or get them a job or whatever. Or you can kind of take it all the way through to my uni friend and the Hilarias of this world who are truly living some kind of deluded fake identity. Why do we do it? Why do we do it? The first thing I think is humans are pack animals. We have to fit in. Being rejected by the crowd is like, for 99% of us, tantamount to death. It's something that we just can't bear. So what do we do to fit in? We start dressing the same. We start listening to the same music. We start forming the same opinions. Some of it's subconscious, some of it's active. I think some people are a lot more conscious of what they're doing. Others, I think, just kind of notice, oh, this is what the other girls are wearing, and they start choosing those kinds of clothes, for example. So I think conformity and fitting in and being accepted is a huge part of it. The other part is, I think some of us don't have the opportunity, or perhaps not until later in life, to truly find and connect with our authentic self. So if you think about it, if you go through school, you've always got a group of friends who's heavily influencing you. You grow up, you go to uni, same kind of thing. For me, it took moving abroad 3 times to be able to find out who I was. And I did go through iterations of being a New York party girl, fashion girl, a Bali vegan hippie, an Australian business owner, someone whose main focus in their life is a relationship, to go through all these various kind of incarnations to finally find what really works for me and who I actually am. And now what I think may well be the biggest of all is growing up with critical parents. So if you had parents who, if you were bad or you did something wrong or you had attributes that they didn't approve of, be that how you look, how you dress, how you behave, it's quite common with parents, unfortunately, that a punishment style is withholding love, withholding affection, and obviously being super critical. And what you learn from that is that you are conditionally acceptable, that love is conditional based on your performance, based on how you look, how you act, what you achieve. And of course, because we can't help it, it's just how the human psyche is wired, in adult life we parent, for want of a better word, we parent ourselves in the same style that we were parented, and we attach shame and guilt and embarrassment to the parts of ourselves that we have learned cannot be accepted. If our primary caregivers, the people who are supposed to love us the most on the planet, tear us down and shun us for our flaws or failures or whatever, it's perfectly reasonable to propose that as adults, when that is entrenched in our brains, we carry that mentality through our adult life and find ways to try and cover up and dial down those parts of ourselves that we've learned can't be loved, they're not acceptable. But being self-critical and living inauthentically truly is inhibiting your own happiness. As Robert Holden from his book Happiness Now says, happiness and self-acceptance go hand in hand. In fact, your level of self-acceptance determines your level of happiness. The more self-acceptance you have, the more happiness you'll allow yourself to accept, receive, and enjoy. In other words, you enjoy as much happiness as you believe you are worthy of. Ugh, that cuts deep for me, I must say. It cuts really deep. So how do we learn to truly accept ourselves? Well, self-compassion is a huge component in learning self-acceptance. Think of it like this. The people in your life who you love, I'm going to bet money on the fact that you extend compassion towards these people. You don't focus on their flaws. You don't tear them down because they've made a mistake. You don't ridicule them and project hatred onto them because they've embarrassed themselves or because their body isn't exactly how some influencer who's face-tuned and body-tuned the shit out of herself looks. You would never treat people you care about that way. So why do you treat yourself that way? And while we know, or while we think we know, that it may have a lot to do with your upbringing, what we also know is that only you can change this. You are in control of your own healing and your own destiny. So I think the first thing is just acknowledging that you deserve better than this. You would not treat someone else you love this way. Why are you treating yourself this way? The next thing I encourage you to do is really sit with the things that are bothering you the most about yourself. And perhaps again, flip it to, okay, if this was my best friend, if this was my sister, if this was my mum, would I hate her for these things? Or would I see it as part of the tapestry that makes up the wonderful person that she is, flaws and strengths and everything that encompasses who she is? Why am I focusing on this, and why am I extending such negative emotions towards that part of her? It's part of her. It's neither good nor bad. Or mistakes that you've made in the past. Accept that you did the best that you could at the time. Move on. Don't live in the past. You know, so sit with those individual things, dissect them, and I think only in kind of shedding light on them can you move on, because as Shallon Lester says, monsters live in the dark. I also want you to remember that there is no such thing as perfect or even normal people. A quote I love from Timothy Leary is, "I grow tired of people who are so invested in their image that they pretend to live perfect lives which only leads others to compare themselves and judge themselves as not perfect enough by comparison. Why can't we all just admit we're all perfectly imperfect and that our imperfections and scars make us beautiful, unique, and relatable?" Guys, everybody has stretch marks, everybody has hair up their nose, everybody has spots on their bum. I don't know where that came from. Everybody has been dumped or cheated on or heartbroken. Everybody has tried for something and failed. Everybody has embarrassed themselves in front of the whole office or in front of their friendship group. It's just part of life, and I think if we can just learn to lighten up a bit and go a bit easier on ourselves, we would see that and see it all as a bit more lighthearted and not so serious. So please don't put yourself on a pedestal. Don't put anybody else on a pedestal, because it only distances you from the people who would connect with you so much more if they knew how beautifully flawed you are. Honesty and authenticity is magical, it's brave, it's alpha, it's inspiring. It gives other people the courage to relax and be their own authentic selves. And when you've got two people or a group of people connecting on a really authentic level, then you're making space for true, long-lasting, meaningful relationships with other people. If you're all kind of standing around pretending to be something you're not and judging each other, that's not friendship. Why do you want that shit in your life? Come on. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? It is time to give ourselves permission to be the person that we were born to be. Let's do this. 2021 is the year of authenticity. Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. There's going to be so much more of this content coming in 2021. Have a fabulous New Year's Eve. Sending you so much love. Bye.